How's it going, boys? Johnny Superbman here, and it's time for another Questions with Superbman. And thank God that the lockout is over, because we can start talking about hockey once again. That's right. Alright, so going forward, if you guys have any questions about hockey, just leave them down in the comments. And I really want to start giving you guys my opinions about what's going on in the NHL, because there's a lot of good stories out there, alright? So again, going forward, ask questions about hockey, alright? I've come up with a few hot topics here, and I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right into it, alright? First up, I already kind of covered this in either a shootout commentary or a GM mode commentary. I think it was a GM mode commentary. The Yakupov celebration, alright? If you haven't seen it yet, you've been living under a rock, go check it out on NHL.com or TSN or YouTube. Just type in Yakupov celebration, alright? It's everywhere by now. My opinions on it, should he have done it? Is it right? Does it belong in hockey? Was it wrong? Was it immature? All that stuff. It's the good old clash of youth versus tradition. You know what I mean? Originally, when I saw it, I thought to myself, well, shit, the guy's in his first year. He's a rookie. It's his second overall goal, second total goal ever scored in the NHL. It was a humongous goal. If anyone watched that game, I didn't watch it, all right? But any Edmonton fans, they sent me messages saying, Johnny, just for that game itself, it was so back and forth. The emotions were running so high in the game because of the disallowed goal. It wasn't just a random game, even though it was a regular season game. The people in the arena that night, the emotions were very high, and the players obviously would translate to the players. So I could kind of understand that when he did it, maybe he was caught up in the moment. You know what I mean? You could argue it was the biggest moment of his life right there, right? So he skated all the way to the center ice, dropped down to his knees, did a little twirly bird like Theo Fleury. It was a little bit much, but it suited. To me, it was okay, all right? Eventually, he's going to have to deal with it, right? But again, risk and reward. If you're okay with it, well, go ahead and do it. If you can back it up, then go ahead and do it. But then I watched Coach's Corner, and I listened to what Don Cherry had to say about it. And I'm not going to say that he changed my mind, but he made me realize something that I hadn't thought about. He's so right. When he says something like, oh, okay, he put it like this. Here's an example. The next time, okay, no, I'll put it like this. Imagine if the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers both make the playoffs and they end up facing each other in the first round or the second round. Now, every time the LA Kings are facing a little bit of adversity in that round, every time they may be down a few goals or down in the series, all right, it's a perfect talking point for the captain, Dustin Brown, or somebody on the team to step up in the locker room and say, are we going to let these immature celebrating punks embarrass us, all right, during the regular season and now beat us in the playoffs? Are we gonna let them do that to us? So I agree with him when he says you're giving the other team motivation for them to use down the road, and you never want to do that. And I totally agree with him when he says that. Anytime LA is going to be facing Edmonton now, you got to watch out, Yakupov. You're going to have a big target on your back. Not necessarily in a bad way, but if you get the puck, they're going to be headhunting for you. All right, so they're going to be looking for your number. They're not going to come and try to kill you or anything like that, but you're going to see the business end of some body checks now. Guarantee you. And it's a motivational point, all right? The worst thing you can do in hockey is embarrass the other team because they just come back stronger the next time. You should always try to be ice cold because it's your whole appearance. It's like this is just business for them. This team comes into our building, they beat us, they're emotionless, and they go, all right? It leaves an impression on the team because next time you come back, they don't know how to beat you. They don't know what to do. But next time Edmonton comes back, I guarantee you, what do you think the coach is saying to the players in the locker room before the game? All right? Again, are we going to let these punks that embarrassed us last time do the same thing? No, we're going to go out there and we're going to chop their heads off. All right? We're going to forecheck. We're going to grind these bitches down into the ice. That's exactly what it is. You can hear it coming out in my voice. I can make up some motivational speeches right now with Yakupov and his celebration for the LA Kings. All right? So that's the only thing that I have against it. I agree with Don when he says you've given the other team, they've given the LA Kings now motivation for the next time that they face each other. And if it's in a playoff round, watch out Edmonton. But at the same time, for the game, I think it's healthy. The little kids like to see it, which helps grow the game. Football, they celebrate. Basketball, they celebrate. Soccer, they celebrate. Not saying that every other sport does it, so we have to do it. No, but it's a highlight. Like, it made a highlight reel. A celebration made a highlight reel. That's good exposure for the game. So I personally don't have anything against it. But again, I gotta agree with Old Grapes there, man. He's right when he talks about hockey. He is right. And he's right about the fact that you've given the other team motivation for the next time you face them. All right, so that's my opinion about the Yakupov celebration. Next, we're going to talk about the red-hot San Jose Sharks, and even more, the red-hot Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton. All right, this is what I absolutely love about hockey. It's not like football. It's not like baseball. It's even not necessarily like soccer, where prospects and young players in the league, you don't know if they're going to be good or not. You know, you don't know how long they're going to last. You don't know if they're going to have injuries or not. This is what I love about hockey. Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton are both 33 years old, and they're running the NHL right now, you know? So anybody who has like a Alexander Ovechkin or a Crosby or a Phil Kessel or a Jonathan Toews or a Patrick Kane or a Vander Kane, somebody who's in their mid-20s who's already their first liner and lighting it up, you just got to think to yourself, if Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton at 33 are doing what they're doing, then shit, Crosby's going to be good for the next 10 years. Ovechkin's going to be good for another 8 years. Kessel's good for another 8 years. You know what I mean? In their prime good. So that's what I love about hockey. I love how players can have extended careers and they can still dominate at older ages. I mean, 33 is not old. I'm not saying that. But again, you can dominate the NHL at young 20s all the way into your younger 30s. It's great. I love hockey for that. And good for Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton. I tend to never get too excited about the beginning stages of a season, right? Because basically, it happens every year. At the beginning of a season, there's always going to be a team or a player or two players who are playing on the same line who are very hot. And because it's the beginning of the season, they got off to a dramatic start and everyone thinks, oh my God, they're outstanding, right? It happened last year with Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel, at the beginning of the year, he had like 5 goals in the first like 3 games. And then like at like 9 games, he had like 17 or 16 points or something like that. It was ridiculous, all right? So they're just catching fire at the right time. Do I think that they're both going to continue it? No, I don't think they're going to continue it all the way for the rest of the season, even though it's a shortened season. I think they'll have great seasons, but is Patrick Marleau, I mean, 6 games played, 9 goals in 6 games played, 5 assists for 14 points. Is Patrick Marleau going to get 50 goals in 48 games? I've been seeing that around a lot. I wouldn't bet against it. It's possible, but I think he's going to cool down. It's just this year, Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton are the 2 hot players starting the season. So everyone, all the attention goes to them, right? The middle of the season, say, take 2 weeks and get a player who in 6 games gets 14 points, but it's the middle of the season, so he doesn't really spread himself apart from the pack. It goes unnoticed, right? But because we had the lockout, because this is the first 2 weeks, you know, we pick out the best point producers. And what he's done, Patrick Marleau especially, Joe Thornton's been there too, 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points. But Patrick Marleau, the 4 games in a row, the first 4 games, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, and then number 5, he comes back with 1 goal. That's outstanding. I mean, he's good, he got lucky, he got hot at the right time, and he's talented. Tie that all in together, and that's what happens. Just unbelievable hockey right now. This is what we've been missing with the lockout, stuff like this. So, Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton, man, keep on going. They're 33 years old. They don't show any signs of slowing down, and it's healthy for the sport of hockey. You got a young 21-year-old on your team who you want to watch? Well, guess what? You got at least 10 years in him if you compare him to these 2 guys, all right? So, great for those 2 guys. I'm happy for the San Jose Sharks. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the Maple Leafs. Now, I know I'm biased about the Maple Leafs, all right? But they're actually not doing that bad. They're 3-3. And the reason I say they're not that bad is because we're 3-3 without Joffrey Lupul, and we're 3-3 without Kessel having a goal. 6 games played, no goals for Kessel, and 3 assists. Not the end of the world. I've always said it, that Phil Kessel needs somebody else to fully produce, all right? He's not a Crosby. He's not a Jonathan Toews. He's not a player who you can put out there and he'll bring everybody along on the ride with him, right? He is a very streaky player. You can tell when he's scoring goals, getting points. You can tell in his game. He's confident. He's trying fancy plays. You know, he's doing weird things. You can see it in his game. He's fast. He's quick, right? But when he gets into a slump where he doesn't get points, you can see it on his face. He's frustrated. I'm not gonna say he's whiny, but you can just see it in his body language. You know, he floats a lot, and I really think that Phil Kessel is not in tip-top shape this year. All right, I remember last year when he had his outstanding beginning start, he was praised for being in tip-top shape coming into training camp. He didn't go over to Europe to play at all. He didn't play in the AHL. He didn't play at all during the lockout. All right, I don't even know if he put on a pair of skates. All right, so he's not in tip-top shape right now. I think that is a little bit And but obviously Joffrey Lupul. I said it before. Phil Kessel is the kind of player who is amazing if you can have that rock beside him to ground him. You know what I mean? To bring him along. And Joffrey Lupul is that perfect player. They both complement each other. But Joffrey Lupul got injured, and if Joffrey Lupul gets injured, Kessel takes a hit as well. But the thing I like about the Leafs is we're 3-3 with Kessel not producing, with Lupul injured, with MacArthur injured because of guys like Nazem Kadri, who has 6 games played and 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. I've been very, very impressed with the gameplay from Nazem Kadri. This guy has some slick mittens, man. I'm tempted to say he's a better deker, better puck control, better hands than Phil Kessel already. You know, speed, wrist shot power, accuracy, all that stuff, pure sniper ability, no. But when I'm with his hands, like, he's so good. His little passes and stuff, and you can clearly tell Nazem Kadri is in shape. He's been playing in the AHL all year. The guy, and he's a lot better defensively. He hustles. He gets the puck in deep a lot. But a play that I really like, he comes up the right boards, cuts into the middle, and tries to wrist shot it on the net. He's got a pretty hard wrist shot for such a skinny guy as well. So I'm really liking the gameplay of Nazem Kadri. James Van Riemsdyk, he's got a few points, 2 goals, 1 assist in the 6 games that we've had. Pretty good. The goals that he's had, 3 goals, I think. 3 goals. The goals that he's had have been power forward goals, all right? So I'm really liking the gameplay of Van Riemsdyk, and I knew if we had to deal with an injury like Joffrey Lupul or Clark MacArthur or somebody, I wanted that almost because I want our young guns to get the time. And we saw Matt Frieden come up and get 2 goals against Buffalo and help us win in overtime, all right? So we have young guns who can come up and replace them. That's why I'm liking what the Leafs are doing. We are playing decent without our top guns. What's going to happen if we can get all these young rookies clicking at one time and then get Kessel and Lupul back up and running, clicking at one time, all right? You might be dealing with a filthy offensive juggernaut. Defensively and goaltender, that's one thing, but offensively, if everything comes together at the right time, watch out for the Maple Leafs, man. But anyways, I'm not getting too overexcited about the Leafs. We're still not a playoff team in my opinion, all right? Last but not least, I want to get this covered. Washington Capitals. All right, here's a big question for you guys. My opinion I'm giving you, all right? And I want your opinion as well. It's kind of a 2-part question here. Washington Capitals, right? Horrible beginning. Their new coach, Adam Oates, it looks like Ovechkin is still in that slump that he's in. You know, it just looks like he's not enjoying playing hockey. 6 games in, they're 1-4-1, all right? It's still very easy to come back. Very easy to come back. Alexander Ovechkin, so far, 6 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, only 2 points in 6 games. Still very early. He could have a game where 3 goals, 2 assists, and all of a sudden he's back up there, right? He's very talented still. He can turn it on. But it's just, here's the question I want to put to you guys, all right? Alexander Ovechkin, still considered a franchise player, still considered a key player to have, right? How much would his trade value be for you guys? And when does the moment come where you have to honestly think to yourself, all right, this guy, he needs a change of scenery, all right? It's not that we want to keep him here. We don't want to trade him because he's good. Yes, he's good, but it's just not working out here anymore in Washington for Ovechkin. When does that time come? Because, you know what? Last year, 65 points. The year before that, 85 points, which was great. 85 points is good. But Ovechkin, the Ovechkin that I remember was the 3 seasons before that 85-point season, where he had 3 consecutive 100-point seasons. So for the last 5 years, it's now gone 100 points, 100 points, 100 points, down to 85, down to 65. And this year, 2 points in 6 games. I mean, if that continues, again, he can turn it around, but if it continues, that's 3 years with regression of points, all right? When does the time come where Washington says, all right, eventually we're not going to be able to trade this guy because he is locked up for like another 7-8 years till the 2020 season with a cap hit of 9.5. So if he, you know, eventually turns into the player where the whole NHL knows that he's only a 50, 60 point guy, nobody's going to want to take that cap. We're not going to be able to move him, all right? And we're going to have to suffer for the next 5 years. So when does the time come where Washington, it's healthy for the Washington Capitals to trade Ovechkin, all right? If he turns it around, all right, and if he starts becoming a point-a-game player again and gets a hot foot back in his step, then obviously you keep him, all right? But this pattern that is continuing with Alexander Ovechkin, all right, when is the breaking point for the Washington Capitals? If you were the GM for the Washington Capitals, how many more of these non-enthusiastic, non-point producing seasons do you put up with Ovechkin? Is 65 points still amazing? Yes. Is 85 points still amazing? Yes. Is it worth $9.5 million? That's the big question, all right? So I'll put it to you guys. Ovechkin, how many more seasons do you put up with this before you have to try and move him out of Washington, all right? So there you go, boys. I'll put that question to you. Honestly, to me, Ovechkin, you keep him just because he sells tickets, all right? Unless he just is shitting the bed. I still think he's a 30-goal guy automatically, all right? And even that, being a 30-goal guy and selling the amount of tickets and merch that he does, being the star that he is worth it, all right? But I'm saying if you want to be a competitive team, I mean, Jesus, if it's another year like this, I say this offseason, you trade him right away. Get a bunch of first-round picks, get a bunch of prospects, because if he continues it, his trade value is just going to be going lower and lower and lower and lower, all right? So there you go, boys. Oh, my God, I enjoyed this Questions with Superbman talking about hockey again. I could talk for another 15 minutes, but we got to wrap it up. I only have so much footage, all right? So go nuts in the comments, and next week we will continue the Questions with Superbman. All right, boys, I will see you then.